Hi, I'm Jess and welcome to this edition, How to Dress for Your Body Shape. The idea of this video is to show you how to detract attention from the bits that you don't like and highlight the bits that you do. So in this video, I'm going to focus on 4 body shapes: hourglass, pear, apple, and rectangle. Obviously, there are many more body shapes out there, but I thought if I focus on those 4 body types, there should be some tips in there for everybody. Now, you might be thinking, I already know my body shape, I'm an hourglass, I'm just gonna skip ahead and watch that section. That's absolutely fine if you want to do that. I've even put a time code in the description below so you can jump to each section if you wish. However, I will say you might find it beneficial to watch the other body shapes sections because there might be some tips in there that you can equally translate for your figure, so it might be helpful to watch each of the segments as well. So pear shape is traditionally when your waist is wider than your bust. Your hips are wider than your waist and you have narrow shoulders in comparison to your hips. So really on your top section, pear shapes have got the pick of the bunch. You can go florals, you can go with brights, you can go with V-necks, sleeveless, Bardot shapes, because you want to focus the attention on your top section and possibly detract attention from your bottom. Wrap dresses are particularly good for pear shapes. It will nip in at the waist and then just gently skim over the hips and the thigh area. If you don't mind showing your arms, make the most of your lovely narrow shoulders and your arms. Another really simple trick is to tie your hair up out of the way, and it just attracts attention to your smaller shoulders and your neckline. When it comes to blazers, I would say pear-shaped figures look best in a blazer that just covers the hip area. It's still very elongating, it just skims over the widest part of your body. When it comes to coats, I'd say pear shapes look great in A-line coats or anything that nips you in a little bit at the waist. When it comes to trousers, jeans, skirts, anything on your bottom half, I would say if you're not fond of that area, focus on dark colors. It will just slimline your figure and not attract the eye. So if you've got some dark trousers on with a beautiful, bright, floral colored top, everybody's going to be looking at your top. Their eye isn't going to be drawn down to your legs. A really good style of trousers for pear-shaped figures is the flares or boot cuts. Because of the nature of the design, it will really elongate your legs, and the gentle flare out at the bottom will really balance out your proportions. Another idea on the trouser front would be to stick with tailored trousers. I would stay away from pleats, side pockets, or anything else that adds dimension to the area of your bottom half. And it will create more of an hourglass shape rather than the pear shape that you may feel that you are. An hourglass figure is when you generally have a well-defined waist and your bust, hips and thighs are generally full in comparison to your waist. The trick with an hourglass shape is to accentuate your waist as much as possible. High-waisted trousers generally work great on hourglass figures. Think about tailoring so it just elongates you that bit more, and maybe wear a shirt with those high-waisted trousers and tie it in a knot at the front. Another really simple and easy trick you can do to accentuate your waistline is to simply roll your sleeves back to the elbow. It just naturally draws the eye to your waistband area. With tops, anything just a little bit tighter is going to work really well for this body shape. V-necks work particularly well because it naturally draws the eye again to the waistline. Of course, the one thing that hourglass figures look amazing in is a great fitting dress. I would say knee length is the perfect length for your body shape. The other length I think looks great on hourglass figures is when it tapers in just below the knee and the hemline finishes there. It's a very, very flattering shape. I don't know if you saw recently, I tried on some evening wear from Cara Millen, and a couple of the dresses were actually very much suited to an hourglass shape. They reminded me of a Roland Moray type dress. If you've not heard of him, do have a Google, the Galaxy dress. Simply pair a tight-fitting body with a lovely pencil skirt that sits just below the knee, and it will just accentuate all the best bits to an hourglass figure. With an apple shape, your shoulders are generally wider than your hips. You don't have a particularly defined waistline, and you might keep your weight mostly in the middle section. You've often got the slimmer legs compared to some of the other body shapes, so I would say absolutely embrace that, and you want to highlight those. Wearing shift dresses is a really great example of this. Dresses with a waistline just below the bust work really well. Make sure they're not too tight fitting. You want that straight line coming all the way down, and ideally stop at a mini length and make the most of those lovely slimline legs. If you're particularly heavy on the bottom half, I would say focus on the top. Think about interesting sleeve details and different necklines you can use. Try wearing more fitted sleeves, or if you like your arms, I'd say absolutely show them off. It will just help balance out your proportions. Apple shapes really suit jackets that sit either at the hip bone or just below on the upper thigh. When it comes to blazers, I would say go for single-breasted rather than double-breasted. It will just help nip in your shape that bit more. Go for strapless dresses or something with a lower neckline, and also maxi dresses look great on apple body types. It really helps elongate your whole shape as an overall look. It's all about creating an illusion, and if you want to detract the eye from one area that you don't like, focus on making something interesting in an area that you do like. When it comes to buying patterns or prints, I would say apple shapes should look for vertical lines. It will just help elongate you that bit more. The trick for those with a rectangle body shape is to really try and define your waistband. Your shoulders and your hip measurement are roughly the same. Your waist isn't hugely defined, yet weight is pretty evenly distributed throughout your body. Adding belts to dresses and coats really works well for rectangle shapes. So you really want to try and cinch yourself in and give yourself a little bit more shape both on your hips and your bust area. First of all, on the top front, I would say Breton stripes are a great one, and particularly those with a raglan sort of drop seam. It just gives you the illusion of a slightly bigger top section so that when you nip in your waist, it looks like your bust is actually bigger than it is. Now you can absolutely get away with boxy shaped tops and jackets. I would just be mindful of where the hemline finishes. I'd say go for anything that's just slightly above the waist or maybe sitting on your waist. It just helps give you the illusion of your waistband going in and then out again to your hips. And following on from that, I would say tuck in your shirts and your blouses into your jeans, again just to help accentuate. Anything big and statement on the top section is just going to give you the illusion that you've got more curves than you actually have. It doesn't really matter how big or how statement you go on the top section, just remember to contrast it. So if you've gone big and statement on the top, keep it slimline on the bottom. Or, as you're generally quite lucky that your weight is evenly distributed throughout your body, you could go for a statement trouser. Then you want to focus on something really slimline and simple on the top section to make a really lovely contrast. Across the board for all of these body shapes, darker colours are of course far more slimming than bright colours or patterns. So if there's an area that you're particularly conscious of or you really don't want to highlight, I would say go black or dark blue. Don't wear a big pattern or a bright colour on that area because the eye is just naturally going to be drawn to it. So hopefully you found this video helpful and have picked up some tips along the way. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Maybe there's a certain tip or trick you've learned along the way that you think might be helpful for a certain body shape. It's always lovely chatting with you in the comments section. Don't forget to find me over on Instagram at Fashion and Style Edit. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you like my styling videos, it would be lovely if you could subscribe as well. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you found this helpful. I'll see you next time. Take care.